Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I think...
Well, after this interview, sure.
Yeah. No,
You're like, I've met one. We're so excited about this film. It has gotten so many views online in the absolute millions.
Oh, it has?
Yes, and it's been shrouded in kind of secrecy. So what can you tell us about this movie?
The story is the idea of occupation. What would it feel like to be under occupation, but here in America? That's where we came up with this idea of what if it's an alien invasion, but rather than explore that movie, what if we're exploring the 10 years after that?
Right.
And what it means to be, in a way, to defeat it. I love films where you don't really know where the story's going.
Right.
Where it doesn't necessarily follow preordained rules of the genre. And this film certainly doesn't do that. We deal with multiple characters. We leave characters behind for 20, 25 minutes. We then come back to them. We follow others' journeys. And ultimately, we're creating a spider's web, which then, hopefully by the end, people have a complete understanding of what the original intent of the story was.
Chicago is its own character, but I don't think fans are going to ever see it again like the way you portray it.
It was always my intention not to go too dystopian. I wanted it to be a normality, like I said at the beginning, something that we could see outside of the window.
And this takes place in 2000, it's like 2027.
27.
So it's not too far in the future.
No, so it's a very accessible future, and one that we would and should recognize. There's little changes. Digital technology has been bad.
Right.
So we've kind of regressed to a more analog, and we came up with this idea, well, if you're going to occupy a modern civilization, what are you going to do to cut its legs off? You're going to remove digital technology.
Yeah. Sigourney Weaver would be jealous of the aliens that you guys have put in this movie. Like visually, they're so cool. Can you kind of describe to our audience kind of what they look like and what your vision was for them?
I started to sort of explore the animal kingdom and kind of get into, well, what species sees another species as a kind of invasive one. So for example, wasps and bees.
Yeah.
The idea that wasps attack beehives. And in order to protect the hive, the bees will kill themselves. So we're the bees. That was my first thought. The moment they're unveiled, the moment we see them for what they truly are, I wanted to see their feebleness in a way.
Yeah.
In a way they're kind of the worst of us. That was the idea.
You've worked before with John Goodman, so I was wondering, did you always have him in mind for this role?
When I was writing the character with Erica, we were trying to kind of find this notion of a kind of unmade bed of a man. He believes, though, in law and order. He's true to his beliefs, but he just happens to work for a very corrupt government. And what does that do to somebody? I just immediately thought then of John, because he has that
authority.
He has that authority, but he also has that melancholy about him.
What is next for this world?
Let's say we broke the trilogy down into three. So this was the first of the trilogy. This would be the uprising. This would be the Arab Spring in a kind of alien occupation sense. And then we would see the war. We would see ultimately the conflict, the global conflict between humans and aliens.
Right.
And then possibly the third story would take us off planet. And of course, if the aliens have invaded us, they've invaded other species as well. They've colonized other planets.
So they're not the first.
Yeah. We're not the first, exactly. And
so you've thought about this.
We did.
We got the mapping out now already of the three, if there were to be.
Yeah.